how the characters interact with you. You care about a lot of the characters as they follow you around and you see them again. You're like, hey, I remember you. It's just, it makes it feel more real. Like in Warcraft, after you were done talking to so-and-so guy in the zone and finished that quest hub, you never saw him again.
Yeah.
This game, they tend to follow you around. You see people all the time. And it's just fantastic.
Yes, exactly. I really like that I've done that. And when they were asking their little survey, I was always saying, yes, the story is amazing, the character, yes, I do care about them, yes, it's good. Because I wanted them to do that more even. I really want them to continue to do this. There's character I would like to know what they happened with them, like Verandis and Gwen, where they are now, what they're doing. Verandis has been taken in Cold Harbor. I want to save him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's really cool.
What happened to poor Stibbins? I know he's in trouble again.
Everything happens to Stibbins. Oh my gosh. He's
I'm
never
doing a
safe.
quest on him just now.
Poor Stibbins. poor Stibbins. Oh, wow.
The fact that we remember the name of the character is also a good sign because, like you said, the World of Warcraft, even if the quest is nice, you don't remember the quest giver name.
Mm-hmm.
But here we really know them. Darian Gauthier and Stebbins and Lady Laurent.
Yep.
All those people.
Other games, you really only know the big guys. Warcraft, you really only know the, like the faction leaders. That's about it.
Yeah.
I can remember Thrall.
They follow throughout the thing. And some have, like I said, overarching storylines, but it's one quest out of 1,000 in other games that are memorable. This one, you're following side characters who really aren't part. Like Stibbins is like the butler of a noble woman. That's it. Like he's not really important, and yet you remember him and follow him. Like the daggers we saw that were fighting the Harpies in Glen Umbra and now Rivenspire. They're almost like comic relief, but you find them and you remember them and go, I helped you guys before. You were a bunch of clowns. Oh, I see you still are. Okay, I'll help again, But it's in a way that makes you fall in love with these characters and why you want to follow and see what happens to them. And then are devastated when you find them laying like on a funeral pyre going, oh my goodness, my choice did that.
Yeah.
That happened to us in Stone Falls when you had to choose between aiding the fort or the docks. This is before we realized this happened, and I know Thais and I, this goes back episodes ago, but I think it was, she's like, well, what do we do? And I'm sitting here, and I thought, kind of role-played out the situation going, well, militaristically, if we take the dock, the problem is the guys taking the fort, if they get behind us, then we're stuck in a pincer move. Like, they'll be able to move behind us, we'll be cut off, and then they have reinforcements from the sea. We could be slaughtered. If we can push them out from the mainland, they have nowhere to go, and we can keep pushing till they're off of our island. So I went from a very militaristic standpoint going, it's more tactically sound to save the fort than to go aid the docks. Because they can take the docks, but as long as we hold the mainland, we can push them out and cut off resources. And then afterwards I realized, when we get to Davin's Watch, we find all the heroes that we had saved and stuff like that, but two of the Dark Elves that you meet from the very beginning are laying on the funeral pyre because they didn't make it. You go out and you hand in the quest, and you can even ask the guy, like, what happened to the people at the docks? And they're like, they didn't make it. And, when you hand in the quest, you're like, oh, that's sad. But it really strikes home when not even part of a quest, we were just walking through the city and found their funeral going on. It's like, it really struck home as, oh my goodness, this really did happen. They are gone. And it's...
Yeah.
Wow.
It's exactly what I have lived myself, except that I went to the dock and defended the dock, and then I don't know why I went back to the fort, say, oh, I will go help the fort. I wonder what's happening with the fort. So I even didn't went to the next zone. So I just went to the fort directly after the dock, and then I discovered everyone dead on the ground. Oh no,
You're sitting there on your hands and knees, arms up in the sky. What have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. If we keep going like this, we'll be here all day, because this, I guess, I will say, Elloa, you've been fantastic on the show so far. This awesome conversation.
I'm just having fun.
It is.
Speaking about my patient with passionate people, we like the same thing. It's nice to be able to speak about what you really like and enjoy, and to share it with someone else. So that's great.
It is awesome. All right. Did you have anything else, Thais, that you would like to say about our tales? Because, I mean, really, we had a lot of hours of playtime, but it was really small amount of stuff, and other than your Jakarn affair.
That's all I'm going to say. Jakarn is mine.
Okay.
Yep. And that beefy Argonian in the Sean.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know the last place we kind of ended is we were, we had pushed the Montclairs out of Stormhelm, and now we're kind of heading over to Crest Shade, and that's where, again, we found Darian down at the Tamriel refugee camp, and I think that's where we left off last night, because I think you weren't feeling well, so we all logged off. But
I needed a nap.
You needed a nap. I cannot wait to continue the storyline. It looks so good in this area. I love it. It's kind of like the standard Game of Thrones thing, the nobles fighting over the thrones, and now there's vampires, so it's pretty awesome. All right, I guess that'll end our Tales section for this week. Let's go ahead and move into our next section, which is the dramatic reading. This week,
nice.
Yeah, this week we're continuing where we left off with the Shadowfen lore book set. And I think this is the 7th book in the series, called Remember Me. So, Thais, go ahead and take it away.
A tunnel? A cave? Dark, damp, and warm? Scalesong ran toward the hazy light, hearing his footsteps echo in the narrow passage, sinking deeper into the mud. "How can I sink in this?" he asked aloud. "I am of parents born in Black Marsh." When he could no longer move, Scalesong bowed his head, listening to the moisture dripping from the roots twisted above him. Soon it would be over. He would return to the Hist. How embarrassing, though, for an Argonian to suffocate in mud. His eyes opened suddenly. He had the same dream every night for weeks. Each night, he thought he was nearly at the cave's exit. Everything would be made clear once he reached it. And each morning, Scalesong awoke, no closer to understanding the meaning of the imagery. "Clearly the Hist speaks to you," said his egg brother, Goshtail. "Tonight, ask what it wants. Talk to it." "I'll try," said Scalesong, "but I never remember it's a dream until I'm awake." Goshtail reached into an earthenware jar on the shelf beside him. He handed Scalesong a thick roll of leaves tied with twine. "Burn this," he said. "The incense may clear your mind. If the Hist wants you, you must listen." Scalesong nodded. Advice like this was precisely why he sought Goshtail's help. For the first time in a long while, he couldn't wait for night to fall. The burnt incense filled his hut with thick gray smoke that coiled heavily along the ground like fog. Scalesong hadn't expected it to smell so horribly. Still, he watched the smoke spread slowly throughout the room, his eyelids growing heavier and heavier. A cave? A tunnel? Smoke drifted along the muddy floor. Scalesong stopped running and reached out a hand toward the smoke. "Talk. Ask. Speak. Are you trying to tell me something?" he asked aloud. "I am dead." "Dead? Who are you?" The smoke coalesced the figure through the dark passage. His feet no longer sank into the mire, as in all the other dreams. They walked in silence. Scalesong was alert, but untroubled. It seemed like hours before the pair reached the tunnel's exit. The shimmering figure sighed deeply, pointing toward a shriveled tree. "A Hist?" said Scalesong, surprised. "Is this it? Dead? But how?" "Remember," said the figure, unfurling into the wind, but not before it pressed a mimic egg into Scalesong's hands.
More Argonian lore.
I love the Argonians.
Yeah, I really love the Argonian lore too.
They are just massive hippies.
Oh, yeah.
You see that burning the incense? I'm just seeing a bunch of Argonians holding hands, tambourines. You know, I don't know. It's different.
they're shamanistic.
They are.
I like the influence in the Peruvian culture and stuff like that.
Some of their older architecture definitely harkens back to Aztec culture as well, with their
Pyramids.
the pyramid-looking things. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I like the huts. I do.
I love the way they speak. Sun on my scale.
Sun
The
on my
river
scales.
flow.
Stay moist.
Stay moist.
Stay moist.
Yeah.
By my mother's egg tooth.
Oh my goodness, she's crazy. I don't know. Like they're interesting because the two cultures that I think I like the most, at least in terms of the way they speak and the ones I like to listen to the most, are definitely the Khajiit and the Argonians.
Yeah.
Because they're
I
the
agree.
most interesting to, like, even when I was trying to read the question, I think that was fun.
Oh, I could do the Khajiit voice really well, but trying to be monotone as the Argonians, that is impossible for me.
The monotone, you notice, kind of off topic, but you notice mostly it's the males who are the most monotone. The females tend to have a little bit more to their voice.
Not always.
Not always?
No, not always. There's a lot of females who are very monotone.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have don't discuss, I suppose. I am a crocodile.
The girl who
love
says she's a
her.
crocodile.
Yeah.
I was born a crocodile. I think we talked about that like
The
2 or
last
3
show.
episodes. Yeah. Where she's like, I was not born at Argonian. I was born to be a crocodile. She was silly. She cracked me up. All right. Well, it's time for emails and iTunes reviews. And oh my goodness, I'm going to say this right off the bat for the people. I am now weekly checking the US iTunes, the Canadian iTunes, and the UK iTunes, because those seem to be our most active.